Hello guys, and welcome to my channel. Thank you for stopping by. So in today's video I'll be showing you how to make an A-line flay gown with a princess dart
and a side pocket.
and as you can see I already have my fabric, which is an ankara, and my lining and my zipper, and that's all you need for this tutorial, and you'll be done in few minutes. So without wasting much of our time, I'll go ahead and start drafting this dress. So you can see I have my fabric already spread out. Please just watch carefully so you know how I folded this. We are going to fold in a slanty or tilted manner in such a way that the folded part is going to be higher than the actual edge of your fabric, just like this. I hope you understand what I mean. Sorry, my camera didn't really the full folding of this dress. I actually have a smaller table, but I just hope you understand. Just tilt this like this, and do ensure that the folded part is higher than the edge of the actual fabric. So you can see the line which I already marked across. I just cut that part off because it's not needed. So that is just basically it, and I'll go ahead to measure what I have. If I'm not okay with it, I'll still go ahead and reduce this. And remember, the more you tilt, the more fuller the down part will be. Don't worry, just stick around and you understand what I mean. So I went ahead to also reduce this more, and I think I'm okay with what I have already. So after doing that, I'll go ahead to mark half of an inch, and that will be for my shoulder allowance. After that, I'll go ahead now to connect that line. So I'm going to mark my shoulder of 15 inches divided by 2, 7.5. I'll mark my armhole of 9 inches, and I'm going to connect that using a straight ruler. So having done that, I'm just going to connect this line from my shoulder to my armhole line, just like this. And I'll go ahead to divide my bust circumference by 4, and I just marked it on my armhole line. So I'm getting the middle part of my armhole. I'll come in by half an inch on that point, and I'm just going to curve like this using my curved rule. So I'll go ahead to mark my neck opening or my neck width of 2.5 inches, because I don't really want it to be very wide. And here I'm working with a neck of 2 inches and 5 inches as well. You just see how I'll create the neckline. So firstly, I'll go ahead and mark 2 inches first. Then just see how I'll connect this. Just like this. So for the next one, which is the 5 inches, I'm just going to also connect like this. I don't really know the name for this neckline, but that was what I wanted to do for this dress. So I went ahead to mark my shoulder to my nipple point of 10 inches, and after marking that, I'm just going to connect all of that dotted lines with my straight ruler. So I'll go ahead and mark my nipple to nipple point of 3.5 inches on my bust point and also on other parts of my dress, and I'll connect with my ruler, and from the middle of my armhole I'm just going to connect that from there to my bust point area, and that is just it. So after doing that, I'm going to get my half length of 15 inches and I'm going to mark it there, and I'll also connect that with a straight ruler. So having done that, I'll go ahead to divide my waist circumference by 4, and I marked it there, and I'll go ahead and divide my and I'll go ahead, sorry, to add 4 inches joining allowance, because you know this is actually going to be a free dress. It's not going to be fitted, so that's the reason for adding 4 inches. At the end of the day, I'll go ahead to take 1.5 inches at both sides. So I did the same thing for my bust area and divided and added 4 inches stitching allowance. So you're just going from your waist circumference, where I mark the waist circumference, I'll just go ahead to make a straight line just like this to my full gown length. I hope you understand what I mean. So having done that now, I'll go ahead to mark my full gown length of 42 inches, and I added 2 inches hemming allowance. And from there, I'm just going to mark this round like this. I hope you can see what I'm doing. So this is how you should actually mark yours all around, with your tape placed on your shoulder line. So this is it. You can go ahead as well to extend this line if you wish, which I just did right here, but I won't be making use of it. So I've gone ahead to come up by half of an inch from my shoulder allowance, and I'm just going to slightly connect to my actual shoulder line. So having done that, now I'm going to extend that my nipple to nipple point to the full gown length which I have here. So you can see I've already done that, and I'll go ahead and cut this out because we are done drafting this dress. So I'm just going to cut out that extra inch which I added earlier, but I don't really want this dress to be too big. I don't really want it to be too big, so I'll go ahead to also trim off that extra inch which I added at the end of the day. And I'll go ahead to come up by 1 inch at least here, and I'll connect like this because I don't really want that point to be pointed, sorry, the end of my dress to be pointed. So just like this, I'll go ahead also to open up the dart area just like this. And after doing this, you are done drafting for the front part. And I forgot to add 1 inch for my shoulder allowance, so please don't forget to do that at the princess dart area. So here is for the back. I'll go ahead to fold my fabric into two, place my center front fabric on it, and I'll go ahead to mark my half inch, 1 inch for my zipper allowance. And after marking this, I'll go ahead to place this directly on that 1 inch which I marked. And having done that, I'll go ahead to cut exactly the way it is, but excluding the neck area. I'm not going to go deeper by 5 inches. I'll just stop at that 2 inches right there, and I'm going to maintain my neck width, and that is basically it. So I'll go ahead and cut out every other thing I have here. So having done that now, I'll go ahead to do the same thing for the side. I'm not going to add any allowance to the sides because this is the side. I hope you understand. So I'm just going to cut out exactly the same thing I have here for the sides. So after this now, I'll go ahead to draft my sleeve, and I'm working with a sleeve of 10 inches which I just marked. And after that, I'm just going to come down by 3 inches or 4 inches at this point. 3 4 inches is actually okay. So from there, I'm just going to connect like this, and after that, I'm going to measure my armhole. That's my armhole circumference divided by 2, which is 9, to make sure that I'm actually not making any mistakes. So I'll go ahead to mark my sleeve, round sleeve circumference, and I'm go ahead to also add 1.5 1 inch joining allowance. So this is it. I just connected. So I'll go ahead now to cut this out. So as you can see, I'm done with the sleeve. So now I've moved right to the pocket part of this dress, and I went ahead to fold this fabric into two like this, and I'm working with a length of 14 inches. So from the edge of my fabric, I'll go in by 2.5 inches, and I'll come down by 7 inches just like this. And I'm just going to make a curve like this, and from that 2.5 inches I went in, but I'm just going to make a curve all the way down to that 7 inches just like this. And I'll just go ahead to cut this out. So I'll open this up because I'm actually going to be placing this on the front part of my dress, and Voila, that's just it. And I've gone ahead to also cut this out on my lining piece, and I just came to show you what it looks like so far. And I'll be attaching these little designs on this dress. So I went ahead to cut out a long piece of this fabric of 2 inches, which I'll be attaching to this dress just like this. I'll first attach this before I'll join this with the center front first before attaching the side piece to it, and before joining everything together. Just watch what I'm doing, you definitely understand. So here is what I mean. I've gone ahead to join that. You can see its beauty, and I've gone ahead to fix my pocket, but I'm going to explain how I fix this pocket. So from your shoulder, you're going to mark your half length, and my half length is 15 inches, and that is where my pocket actually started. So that's just as simple as that. So I just measured 1 inch away from my dart area, and that was where my pocket started. So I've joined the same way I joined for my fabric. I've joined the same way to um my lining, and I'll go ahead to stitch up all of these parts. So I'm cutting off the shoulder. I told you earlier that my shoulder will be bigger because I didn't add the 1 inch allowance to my princess darts when I was cutting, but there's no cause for alarm. So I'll go ahead now to stitch all of this area, and I'm going to turn it out, and I've gone ahead to do this, and I remained one part at the down part of my gown where I turned that from, and which is here. So this is just basically it, and I'll go ahead to do same for the back part of my gown. I'll go ahead to do that for the back part of my gown, and I'm just going to turn this up from that part. First join fabric to fabric before you join your lining to your lining. So having turned this all out, I've gone ahead to join the shoulder area, but I still have the sides and the center back open. So it's now time to stitch up the sides. So to stitch this up, I'm going to be using 1.5 inch from my armhole area. You can go ahead to measure your armhole of 9 inches or 8 inches, and from there you're just going to stitch straight. Please do not follow the shape of the gown, just shape straight, like straight. Just maintain that straight stitch. Don't try to give it your own curved stitch, just straight stitch. Okay, so I've gone ahead to do this, and this is the outcome, and all the sides now are closed up aside the center back. So I'll go ahead now to fix my zipper, and after fixing my zipper, I'll go ahead as well to fix my sleeve, and that'll be all for this tutorial. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe. Thank you to all my subscribers. See you same time on this same channel. Bye.